with future plans for Seth Rollins revealed and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Talking about previous plans for her AEW debut, Saraya told the Corner podcast, "It's easier to get people to hate you than love you. People always want to find a reason to talk some on you, and now you're going to give it to them and you're not going to be offended because you're like, hey, I'm playing a character. I'm supposed to be an a-hole." So with being the heel, I wanted to do it straight out of the gate, but Tony Khan and everyone was saying, you can't because you're now coming back. Career-ending injury, you're finally back in the ring again, so people are going to cheer you. But at the same time, with these promos with Britt Baker, Britt was saying some things that were really accurate, and you can't help but be on her side. She was just like, I am the pillar. She was the first ever signing. I am the one that created this women's division. She's the one who built the women's division. She was there when they had to do all the COVID shows and stuff like that. She was running the ship. She was killing it. So everything she's saying, you can't disagree with her. And then you have me coming in from a different company being like, you don't know what it's like to be a star. Everyone should be cheering for me. And I look like the a-hole, so I'm just like, let me be a heel. Let me tell you as well, AEW fans love their homegrown talents. They do not take too kindly to some people coming in, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, people are harsh. People are really harsh. So I'm just like, well, why don't we just make this a thing? I don't care. I'd love to be a heel. I love being heel. I feel like I thrive when I'm in my heel role. I can be more creative. I love to talk shh. You can see on social media, I love to talk shh. Yeah, I get a little too carried away. Asked what it was like to work for Vince McMahon, Teddy Long told WrestleBinge, "I can't just say what he's really like because I didn't hang out with him that much, but the time that I get a chance to spend with him, I thought he was one of the nicest people in the world. I've seen him go on these rampages and stuff, but like I always say, this man has a billion-dollar operation that he's running, and then one little thing can happen and can screw this whole company up. So I can understand why if somebody goes out and says the wrong thing or makes a mistake, you know what that can do. I don't know if I'd be as mad as I've seen him, but he lets you know, don't make that mistake no more, and I didn't have no problem with that. I didn't have no problem with Vince. He was just as nice as he could be." Mentioning the prospect of getting back together with his ex-wife, Jake the Snake Roberts told the Wrestling Perspective podcast, "I'm trying to talk that woman into marrying me again. I think she's gonna do it. I mean, that's an amazing story. 24 years we were separated, you know, divorced for 24 years. Now we're hooking back up and it's just a great story and a great life. I got a second chance to smell the roses and I'm taking advantage of it. I really am." It seems that prior to Double or Nothing, AEW stars were told about a roster split, with Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful revealing that talent were told this weekend that Collision may start as a soft brand split, then develop into a harder one. They weren't told anything specifically. On his podcast, Kurt Angle said this about Brock Lesnar's current run in WWE, noting that, "I thought Brock was at the point in his career where he was going to start putting over other talent, but I think he might not be at that point. There comes a time when he's going to have to, kind of like Undertaker doing the favor for him at WrestleMania. There is going to be a day when Brock Lesnar is going to start losing here and there. I was hoping it would be now, but with Cody's arm the way it is, he has an out now. Brock gets his arm in an armbar and, you know, Cody passes and doesn't tap, breaks his arm, and looks like a hero. I think that's most likely what's going to happen. I would have said a month ago Cody Rhodes all the way, but I feel like Brock Lesnar is still at the point in his career where he is not going to be doing many jobs down the line, not immediately." When it comes to who was backstage at Raw last night, it was said that Kevin Ventura Cortez, a WWE NXT trainee who has not yet debuted on NXT TV, is backstage at tonight's Raw in Albany, New York. PWInsider.com has confirmed. Javier Bernal was also backstage at Raw. Following his loss to Gunther at Night of Champions, this was said about future plans for Mustafa Ali by BWE. Ali always wanted to work with talents in NXT and help the next generation out, although there are plans for him to grow on Raw. On Insight with Chris Van Vliet, New Japan star Will Ospreay said this about future goals in wrestling and potentially competing at WrestleMania. Not like in that sense of this, but like, of course, I would love to wrestle in front of 80,000 people who wouldn't want to wrestle. But like, in the sense of, I'm not going to lose sleep if I never do it. But you know what I mean? Like, I never wanted to get to this level of fame with wrestling. I just enjoy doing it on the weekends, and New Japan offers me a lot of money, and I was just like, whoa, I can make money from this? Here's the thing, I told you this, but like WWE, TNA, and New Japan were on the table at the same time. And like the selling point in New Japan was that I get to come home. WWE, I have to move there. TNA, most likely the same thing, and it wasn't guaranteed money. In New Japan, I get to come home, and I'm a real home guy. So like the fact that I've got to come home was like incredible. For details on AEW's recent Double or Nothing event, PEW Insider reported that we are told there were numerous instances of fan issues in the T-Mobile Arena last night with security removing unruly fans. It was added that the live crowd was late arriving with the venue not really filling up until the Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter match. Speaking about a possible return to WWE, Kaitlyn said this on Muscle Memory. I think with anything, I am not 100% so against coming back like, oh, I'm retired and that's it. I'm always open to cool opportunities, cool collaborations. It's not really in my sight right now to pursue wrestling, but after so many years of being removed from it, I certainly have a different appreciation for it. I feel like I understand it on such a deeper level, and for truly such an art form that it is. I'll never say I'm retired, and I'll never get in a ring again, but it's not anything that I am actively trying to make happen. From a potential return to a possible debut, Olympic gold medalist boxer Claressa Shields said this about having what it takes to join WWE, telling Brandon Robinson, "Listen, I'm a natural entertainer. I believe that I would have a part in the storyline and I would be all for it." She would also state that she could take some of those girls, so yeah, WWE call me. Talking about the upcoming debut of AEW Collision, Matt Hardy said this on his Extreme Life podcast. People want to plan vacations and family time and trips and whatnot, and it's kind of tricky because as of now, everybody kind of has to leave everything open. So I'll be happy when Collision gets here, and they kind of have really a good lock on what roster is on Dynamite and what roster is on Collision. There will be some guys that float back and forth. Speaking about former TBS champion Jade Cargill, Kevin Nash criticized AEW on his Click This podcast. Like that Jade Cargill, she's got an amazing look, but if it was my company and she was my prospect, I would have her twice a week as a part of her deal somewhere at a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu place, learning how to be a legitimate. Then that way there, she's just a machine. She's not improving. Her offense isn't improving. Her punches aren't improving because she doesn't get enough ring time. So what you have to do is you have to expand her horizons and make her even more formidable. Sticking with Jade Cargill, she said this to TV Insider about turning down being a part of AEW All Access. No, that's why I chose not to do AEW All Access. I feel like I give so much of my time to my job. We all sacrifice a lot of time to our job, and I'm one for privacy. I post like little things. I don't really post my life because I don't want anybody to think they know me. I'm just myself. I picked up wrestling 2 years ago, and I think for what I'm doing a damn good job. I have the company on my back. They believe in me. I'm just happy. I'm happy for my success. I'm happy for my storyline. I'm happy for this year, and I'm excited for things to come. With WWE Chairman Vince McMahon making changes to shows in recent times, Sean Ross Sapp added that, as our Inside the Royal Rumble 3 feature indicated, January 2022 saw an all-time low in WWE morale, followed by it reaching a near high after Vince McMahon was out of the company. However, when McMahon forced his way back into WWE and appeared all WrestleMania weekend making changes, there were several on the roster upset with what they saw. The roster was assured repeatedly that Triple H was still in his role, but have been subject to late changes whenever Vince McMahon McMahon sees fit remotely. It was reiterated to us that when McMahon is there in person, which he hasn't been since Mania week, that the changes were a lot heavier and had less reason to them. However, those that we spoke to on the roster said that instead they hear that Vince McMahon calls in changes remotely and does it with heavy alterations. Still, there have been talent that have told us they've had more flexibility in their promos of late than when Vince McMahon was present. Morale was particularly high after the European tour, which many told us was the most fun they've ever been on. Those that we've heard from say that things have improved significantly since McMahon was around, but they're still on guard at the possibility that he could just charge back in and be backstage. However, several also believe that McMahon realized the chaos that just being backstage caused and has opted to work remotely since. Giving an update on future plans for Seth Rollins as World Heavyweight Champion, Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, so they are doing another match between Lesnar and Rhodes. I don't know if it's going to be in London or it'll be in Detroit, but they are definitely doing another match. And I did check, and there is nothing in the cards right now for Lesnar with Seth Rollins. It's not, I mean, they could do it later, but it's nothing that's in the plans right now. It's just Lesnar with Cody. I don't know how Seth wrestles. I thought maybe we would find out. I thought maybe it'd be like Damian Priest, but then by the end of the show tonight, it was when the thing was over, it's like I don't think they're gonna go to Seth and Damian Priest, because if they did, all I would say is what a stupid finish they did. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.